Preparing my morning coffee has become a very big part of my day. I get to start off my morning with no distractions, and it forces me to be present. By putting my focus on this one task, I'm rewarded with a great cup of coffee. It's also calming, and this sets the tone of the day. Now, my morning coffee routine hasn't always been the same. As a coffee enthusiast, I consider myself a beginner, so I'm always learning, I'm always reading up on new things and trying new things. Today I'm going to share my current iced coffee routine, and this is using the AeroPress. The first thing I do is prepare my water. I fill up my kettle and set it on the stove and wait for it to boil. While waiting for the water to heat up, I start preparing my beans. This recipe calls for 30 grams of coarsely ground coffee. The coarser grind size is actually something that I only started doing recently after watching a few videos of past AeroPress champions. I tried it for myself and it's worked for me. The results have been good. After measuring out the beans, I transfer it to the top of the grinder and begin the grinding process. This is actually the most time-consuming part of the whole process, but it's something that I've learned to enjoy. Sometimes it takes me around a minute and a half to finish this whole process, but on days when I want to take it easy, it can take me a little over 2 minutes to finish this whole part, and that's okay. It's also a little bit of workout, but at this point I've gotten used to it. Once I feel the resistance start to lessen, I know that I'm almost done with this step. After this, I set up my AeroPress. I use the inverted method, which means I use the AeroPress upside down. This is how I've been using it for the past 6 or so years, so it's the method that I prefer. I feel that I get more consistent results this way. Once the water has come to a boil, I quickly turn off the stove. At this point, the water is still very hot, so I give it around a minute to cool down before I start to use the water. This gives me time to set up my ice. I place my glass on the scale and I measure around 150 grams worth of ice. That's around 6 ice cubes for me. At this point, the water's almost ready, but before I get started brewing, I wet my paper filter. This is a small step, but it's just to ensure that you don't get a papery taste in your brew. Now it's time to brew. Before I get started pouring, I tear up my scale. And my goal at this point is to fill up the AeroPress till I have 100 grams of water. After filling to that amount, I stir. This is to make sure that all the coffee grounds are covered and so that there's an equal extraction all throughout. After stirring, I get rid of the scale and I push out any excess air in the AeroPress. We're around 40 seconds into the brew now, and it's time to press the AeroPress. I do this right over the ice, so as I push down, it melts some of the ice, letting some of that ice into the actual coffee. This should take around 20 to 30 seconds. You know you're done when you start to hear a hissing sound. That's when I start to ease pressure. I like to let that coffee melt some of the ice, so I take this time to do a little bit of cleaning. I get rid of my coffee grounds and I clean all the different utensils that I use. It's now time to enjoy my coffee.